So, sports update of April 17th, 2023. First of all, Jalen Hurts got a 5-year, $255 million contract. As an Eagles fan, I am so excited about this. What makes me a little bit skeptical is how other NFC East teams have been reacting to this, like the Giants, Commanders, and Cowboys. However, I know that they're all just jealous, and I am confident that with this raise, the Eagles will be an even better team than they normally are. Although the Mets are the highest paying team, and all they can get is one wild card appearance in like 6 years. The Mets are not good, and they're such a high-paying team that this does give me skepticism about the Eagles. But given how they already made it to the Super Bowl last year, I have faith that they can make it back. The Philadelphia Eagles in 2020 were down to an abysmal 4-11 record. Yet they managed to pull through. And in 2021, earned a 9-8 record to make it to the wild card round where they lost to Tom Brady. But it's all right because the Eagles beat Tom Brady in the Super Bowl in 2018. Then, in 2022, we earned the bye, beat the Giants, beat the 49ers, and then fell to the Chiefs, who we are playing in a regular season. So, Jalen Hurts should have a chance at revenge from Patrick Mahomes, although it won't matter quite as much, but it could still have playoff implications. Speaking of baseball, I didn't really check how the Mets are doing because I don't care about them, but the Cubs, they won an important game a few nights ago against the Dodgers and improved their record to 8-6. And I'm so happy that the Astros are 7-9. I think that those cheating bastards will finally have a bad year this year. And unlike 2020, they can't just get away with it because of COVID. So I'm hopeful that this poor record extends throughout the season and that the Astros finally miss out on the playoffs, because I'm just sick and tired of them. By the way, unlike in football, returning championships to the MLB, yeah, they don't exactly fare well. 11 times in the past 22 baseball seasons, the defending World Series champion failed to miss out on the playoffs. Now, granted, back in the day, it used to be harder to make the playoffs. There were less spots. Back when we started counting this, there's only one singular wild card spot. And in theory, this meant that if you had a year like 2021 in the National League, if you weren't a division winner, you ain't getting the spot because the Dodgers got 106 wins and were demoted to wild card. That's kind of why we began to introduce more wild cards, is for situations like this, and then we had to make a wild card round. So just because the Astros won the World Series last year does not mean that they're going to have an amazing run this year, and I'm hopeful that they finally fall. Also, the Chicago White Sox game against the Philadelphia Phillies has been postponed due to cold temperatures and due to rain. Now in hockey, playoffs are starting tonight, but what you gotta understand about hockey and basketball is that every round is a 7-game series, and they only play games every 2 to 3 days. What this essentially means is that hockey and basketball playoffs last a while. Basketball playoffs usually last 2 months. Hockey playoffs usually a little bit longer than that. It takes forever to get these sports playoffs done, unlike baseball or football, which get done in about a week. Football, based on it being a 1-game series because they only play weekly games. Baseball, because the series are shorter and they also play practically every night except when they're traveling. So, as far as the important teams I'm tracking down, 76ers play against the Nets tonight. And we need to win tonight because getting ourselves to a 2-0 lead will definitely begin to solidify our position. The Celtics, however, only are playing every 3 days for a while, so they don't play until tomorrow night. Didn't check when the Knicks and Cavs play next. I think it's going to be on, I think it's going to be, is it tonight or is it tomorrow night? I don't know. The Knicks did win, and now they are the favorites to win, which I'm a little bit annoyed about because Knicks fans are being mean to me. The Lakers also beat the Grizzlies, so this could be again where a 7 seed beat the 2 seed, and the Miami Heat beat the Milwaukee Bucks. The Bucks still have a 53% chance of winning the series, but it's definitely a toss-up. And given how the Boston Celtics and Philadelphia 76ers are very likely to win, we need the Bucks to get out. So we're not playing each other until at least the championship round. I'm telling you, facing the Cavs or the Knicks will be so much easier than facing off against the Boston Celtics that we need the Boston Celtics to get out. But if it can't be the Celtics, our biggest rival won't get out, the Milwaukee Bucks will also get us into that better position of us being the higher seeded team against the winner of the 4 and 5 bracket. So we need to do something that I would actually almost never advocate for. We need to root for a Floridian team. We need to root for the Miami Heat, because the Miami Heat will make the lives a lot easier for us, given that the Milwaukee Bucks will be out of the way. And I think it's definitely possible. They've jumped out to this 1-0 lead, and I think that a lot of predictions were initially saying that the Bucks would win in a 4-2 scenario. But because they won this game, now they're kind of stuck dealing with a 4-3. The series will probably go all the way. It'll probably be quite interesting for a wild card. And I think that it will just be, exciting to see what gets done. Now, as far as the Kings, even though they beat the Warriors are still heavy favorites. Why? It was predicted to be more of a 4-1 series between the two, between the Warriors and Kings. So the Warriors are still favorites, and now it's predicted to be a 4-2 scenario. Just winning game 1 isn't enough. Actually, just having a 3-0 lead isn't enough. But it becomes more significant once you beat a team who has more wins. Hence why generally 2-0 and 3-1 are the points where I say that a comeback has to be really impressive, especially 3-1, because that means that a team has to win 3 games in a row. 2-0 does give them a little bit more flexibility as to when they actually have to win, as opposed to 3-1. All right. So, as far as hockey goes, the playoffs are just starting. The Kraken don't even play tonight, but the Islanders do. I predict both the Islanders and Kraken to get out. Islanders, I think, are going to lose to the Carolina Hurricanes, and I think that the Kraken will lose to the Colorado Avalanche. Oh, it's actually 65 degrees outside, which is chillier than they said it was going to be, but I'll take 65, I guess. Anyway, the other New York hockey team, the Rangers, are going into an intense series against the New Jersey Devils. It's going to be a battle of the Hudson River, where we see a New Jersey team face off against a New York team. I gotta say, out here on Long Island, the fierce battle between the Rangers and Islanders is the more noted rivalry. But if you live out in New Jersey, it's Devils versus Rangers. You still have Rangers fans. The influence extends into New Jersey. But then you also have a lot of Devils fans, which do extend into Staten Island especially. And also can jut out into Manhattan. But on Long Island, you don't really see that much because of where the Islanders are located too. You have the Devils in Newark, the Rangers in Manhattan, and then the Islanders, who play kind of right on the Nassau-Queens border, but on the Nassau County side of it. So in Long Island, you have mostly Islanders fans with a few Rangers fans. New York City, you have Rangers fans mostly with, again, mixes of both Devils and Islanders. And once you get to New Jersey, mostly Devils fans, but you have some Rangers fans. And this Hudson River showdown, I think, is going to become very interesting and a very hard-fought battle for dominance. And I think that, seeing rivalries play off in these rounds is what makes these rounds so interesting so many times. And we're going to see Rangers versus Devils. Now, my prediction is that both the Devils and the Hurricanes are going to win. For a lot of Long Islanders, they want the Islanders and Rangers to win, because that would mean in the second round, it would be Islanders versus Rangers, which would be interesting. And there's no way around it because of how the hockey playoffs are set. It's based on your own conference with wild cards mixed in. The Islanders in this case got lucky and got to be with their own division. You don't always get that if you're a wild card. So, I mean, seriously, this could be a very interesting hockey playoff and basketball playoff. All 5 metro area teams are in these. So, New Yorkers are going to be glued to their screens to find out more information. And me not caring about hockey isn't really going to get involved in that. But, I mean, with Philadelphia facing off against New York again, there's already been an upsurge in net support, even though the Knicks and Nets hate each other, just so that Philadelphia can finally get out of my life. And I am confident at this point that the Brooklyn Nets are going to lose to the Philadelphia 76ers. And I think that the Sixers winning Game 1 increases my confidence. I can't get too overconfident, but at this point, I would be surprised and very upset if the Sixers lose compared to the Sixers playoff against the Celtics, where I won't really be that surprised if the Celtics actually wind up winning. That's why, again, I'm rooting for either the Celtics or the Bucks to get out in a wild card round. And just because, a 7 or 8 seed has never beat a 1 or 2 seed since the play-in berth, well, that's actually not true. Well, okay, it's true, but it doesn't mean anything because the Hawks were able to beat the Heat in the first place. That's why the Heat are playing the Hawks and not the Celtics. I would have actually rather the Heat play the Celtics. They'd throw them in for more of a loop. But I could deal with them playing the Bucks. So, this again is a very interesting NBA playoff scenario. I don't know what's going to come out of it, but this should be interesting. And I expect to see a diversity of different teams who move on. I don't want it to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 as per normal, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 5. But, I'm excited to see what these lower seeding teams can produce. I'm excited to see, the 7s beat the 2s, the 8s beat the 1s, the 6s beat the 3s in the Western Conference, not in the Eastern Conference. And I actually kind of am rooting for the Kings over the Warriors because the Kings haven't gotten this opportunity in 17 years. But I swear to God, Nets, don't get any ideas. I am not rooting for you. And I feel like this toxicity with the Nets and spilling over into the Knicks as well is probably why I am rooting for the Cavaliers over the Knicks. I don't really have a stake in the series. I really don't. But I feel that Knicks fans are just becoming much more mean to me, to the point where I kind of have to retaliate against them. This is why in the Yankees versus Red Sox series, I'm expecting to be rooting for the Red Sox and sharing it publicly on my YouTube channel. Because people are so mad at me, probably for all the Eagle stuff, that now they're chasing me down into other areas, and I have to retaliate against them in turn by opposing their teams. I mean, why do you think I don't like the Mets in the first place? So, depressing story, which is why I'm forced to root for non-New York teams.